Well, in Cuba, many see Fidel Castro's death as an opportunity for change in the country's decades-long history of human rights abuse. But as VOA's Katherine Gypson reports, those changes might not come easily.
Celebration in the streets of Little Havana. Cuban-Americans hoping the death of one man can end decades of human rights abuses.
That a bad dictator that had Cuba under oppression and repression for almost 6 decades is no longer with us, and that will give an opportunity to the Cuban people to start the journey towards freedom and democracy.
Under Castro's rule, 3 generations of Cuban people lacked nearly all basic civil and political freedoms, with thousands of dissenters punished or imprisoned. Even the restoration of relations with the U.S. starting in 2014 didn't loosen the limitations on freedoms. The internet still severely censored, and the detention of journalists and human rights defenders stepped up. Now it will be up to Raul Castro, who has gradually taken over control of the communist island nation, to decide if his brother's death marks the end of an era, Professor Guadalupe Correa told VOA via Skype.
He needs to change his approach to his own country and allow the country to be more open.
A hope echoed by many U.S. lawmakers taking to Twitter in the hours after Castro's death.
This represents an opportunity, especially for those freedom fighters in Cuba, the opposition leaders who have been risking their lives, their security, their well-being for years to fight for a better country. Now they're going to be stronger.
But change in the wake of Castro's death could come at a steep cost, foreign policy analyst Brian Fonseca told VOA via Skype.
Given that preservation of power is the most critical thing to the Cuban political elite, then I think that you may find repression going up, at least in the short term.
And back in the streets of Little Havana, the realization that the end of the era of Castro is in many ways just the beginning.
The people of Cuba do not have a free elections. There's no democracy, and I think those of us aren't going to rest until we see the freedom for the people of Cuba.
Katherine Gypson in Washington, VOA News.